Hi friends, in this video we would be talking about a very interesting aspect of the markets. As all of you would know, global central banks across the globe already talking about normalization of the liquidity environment. If you look at Fed, they're already hinting at taper towards the end of this year and also looking at first interest rate hike sometime middle of next year or towards the end of next year. The key question to ask is whether the Indian markets have already started pricing in this expected event of a taper, or is yet to get priced in, or will it go through a huge tantrum like what we saw in the year 2030? Let's try to find the answer for this, and let's try to gather some data points that can give some evidence to what markets are up to. If we go back to 2013 and see how taper impacted the markets, you would notice that the biggest impact was on emerging market and especially in EM currencies. EM currencies took most of the brunt. The free fall in rupee in the month of May that year is vivid in memories of many close market watchers. Going by this to gather evidence whether the markets have started discounting taper event, EM currencies may seem like a best place to look for hints. Unfortunately or fortunately, that may not be the case now. Things are different. The reason is simple. There's a key difference between what was the Forex reserves position in 2013 and now. At that point of time, Forex reserves in emerging markets were very fragile and they were hardly enough for about few months of imports. The case is completely different now. Emerging countries are sitting on a huge pile of reserves, forex reserves, having learned their lessons from 2013 mayhem. Take for example India. India is sitting on close to about $640 billion of reserves, and it covers close to about 15 months of imports. That's the strength of forex reserves in India. Given that kind of a strength of forex reserves, it's very unlikely that currencies would be very vulnerable this time, like what happened in 2013. So currencies may not be the best place to look for hints, though going by some of the marginal weakness in currencies over the last few months do indicate that there could be some marginal level of taper discounting which could be already on. So if it's not for currency, which is the next best place to look at for signals on taper discount? So the probable place could be to look at what's happening to FI flows since the time Fed sounded taper. Here one can see very strong signals coming out. In this calendar year, the first 3 months saw whopping inflows of about $7.5 billion of FI flows. But since April, when the taper signals started coming out of Fed, the flows landscape has changed dramatically. In this financial year, since April, the net flows from FIs have been negative. And in the month of October alone, one has seen a net outflow of over $2 billion from Indian markets. So going by these large outflows, it looks like FIs have started preparing for the eventual taper towards this year end. So this effectively means markets have already started discounting, at least if not fully, at least partially, the taper event. So in spite of large FI outflows, Indian markets have to a large extent held up because of the strength of domestic retail flows. Sooner than later, the taper risk would be out of the way for the markets. This does not mean there are no other risks for the market. All that it means is taper event is unlikely to be a major tantrum for the Indian markets as we witnessed in the year 2030. Thanks for watching this video. Hope this gives an interesting insight into how markets are likely to navigate the upcoming taper event. Thanks once again. Happy value investing. See you in the next one. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.